Chips Clips! Alrighty, YouTube's another one of Kips Clips. So, Boris, Johnston and Donald Trump. Some would say it looks like we're staying in the idiocracy. And these are the chosen jokers of the pack. You know, and I think you best believe they're not as dumb as they may try and portray, or as, well, anyway. They're super intelligent. And I think that's an understatement. Especially Boris Johnson, man. He's like a Bond villain. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. He's a wee bit like a Bond villain. Anywho. Try to get this shit right. No, right. Try to get this shit right. There we go. I think that's a bit better. So, my Donald Trump and Boris Johnson conspiracy theory. Right? Now, it'd just be a crazy ass conspiracy theory. What I think is happening now. Hold on, does that make sense? Anyway, I'll make my points along the way because it's too hard to give a quick synopsis. But in fact, let me jump to no, forget about how we got to where we are. That's a good way of organising it in my brain, right? Because this is all improvised. Forget how we've got to where we are. Just look at where we are and what's happening. Right, this is my point. So, regardless of what you think has happened, I've got my opinions of how we've got to where we are. I think everybody's got their opinions as to how. I say we. I'm talking about the world. Look at the state. Pretty much every Western democracy is in flux. You've got Trump, Boris, Putin, the Turkey, the list, endless. List is endless. Anyway, so the world is in flux, it's fair to say. And make up your own mind as to how we've got here, okay? I want to talk about what's happening right here and now. Now, I was explaining it last night, is look what Donald Trump's doing, right? His trick is, he's in the scud, he's got big funny hair, he's got panda eyes because he spends too much time on the in the sunbeds, and he's like a typical white dude. He's got like white stripes down. He wears budgie smugglers in the sunbeds or whatever, and he's standing in front of the world live on Twitter, naked, right, and the whole world is focusing on his body and not what he's actually doing. And this is just an example of a couple of things he's doing, right? But I think this is his main agendas. I think it's becoming obvious what his Middle East policy is, get Iran. And it's becoming obvious what his main geopolitical policy is, fuck up China, to put it politely. So everybody in the whole world is hypnotised with this big weird body, witty, funny looking. Oh man. He's got charisma, hasn't he? He's got character. You would say he's more like a jester, a joker, than anything else. I mean, this guy done the WWE for feck's sake. So, with that in perspective, think about what he's actually doing, right? So he's got Iran. Iran's his focus, and he's doing everything in his power before the end of his term to make these places war zones. Iran and China, whether in the economic sense with China, which he's already started, or in the military sense with Iran, which it looks like it's going down. And that's Donald Trump's trick. Now, also where we're at, and again, regardless of how you think we've got here, how Trump got elected and all that stuff, now where we're at is the political structure in America is destabilised. It's quite impotent, isn't it? Nobody's got trust in anybody. Nobody's got trust in the Republicans. Nobody's got trust in the Democrats. And more people have got trust in this standalone maverick Trump. Now, let's look at wee Bobo Johnston and what's happening here in the UK. Well, it's pretty much the same here in the United Kingdom. Let's say you would, if you wanted Trump to be able to get away with this unanswered, or with nobody in the Western world to stand up to him, you would want friendly government in the UK, and the political structure paralysed, impotent. Nobody can do nothing agreeing anybody because everybody hates everybody equally. And that's kind of the reality, unfortunately, you know. Hung parliaments, leaders of parties that have been put in after the party's been elected. That's more accurate than saying unelected leaders, because we don't get elected leaders in here in the UK. And the UK's been destabilised. I used to point out the similarities as to what happened here in Scotland as a microcosm as to what I was going to... And that's anybody who watched my channel for a long time will remember me saying this. I used to say, look what happened up here with the SNP. Right, up here you used to have the left-right paradigm, then the SNP gained muster, and all of a sudden the SNP came in and went smash and recreated this new one government utopia. There is no party up here to challenge the SNP for anything. Fact, pretty much the way it is right now, which makes the Parliament impotent and the SNP pretty much dictators. And in that process, they've broke down. They've took every police force in Scotland. I think there was only 6 or 7. I can't remember. And amalgamated them in the one super police force Scotland, easier to manage. And then if you go and look at the police that police the police and all that's been put in, it's jokeable. We've turned into a one-party dictatorship up here in Scotland. And regardless of what fucking left-right paradigm you want to stand on, right? But it's all dressed up and we're doing good for the people and stuff, but nobody's realised what's happened to the political structure. And that's what's going on in England. So the SNP came along, wrecking ball, and then they rebuilt the political structure up here in Scotland, and it's pretty much a one-party dictatorship. It's going to happen down in England with all this shit, isn't it? Now, that's what I believe. And the Labour Party's impotent. You've got a raving lunatic commie in charge of the Labour Party, which makes him unelectable. Right? And there was people voicing the concerns of this shit. But the commies were like, no, we wanted a chance to get a commie in under the radar. And the Conservative Party doesn't have the support of the majority of the country. They rely on the other the other part of the vote of the country being fractured. And is there any other parties? What happened to the Lib Dems? Right, and then you've got Brexit Party. Oh, right. So you see how fractured it is? It's absolutely, completely impotent. And because we don't even have a president, we don't have one country come in and go like that. Here, behave yourselves. So that's Donald Trump and Boris Johnson's. Donald Trump and Boris Johnson's conspiracy theory, right? Regardless of how we got here, I've got my ideas, right? That's another conspiracy theory. But right now, what's happened is these two guys are in charge. These two guys are in charge. The political structures in each of these guys' countries are impotent, and because of that, they can pretty much do what they want. With Donald Trump pulling those troops out of Syria, allowing the Turks just to go in to slaughter some Kurds. I mean, it's that stuff. If you've got a balance of democracy, a working democracy or a working system, let's say, anyway, semantics, then that wouldn't be able to happen. There would have been some checks and balances, but these guys have positioned themselves just at the right time, however they've done it, in positions of power in their own countries, and China, the agenda to fuck China up economically. I hope it stays that way. Is heating up, and to fuck Iran up is heating up. But hey ho, we stay in the best of times. Let's not forget that. Although I believe these scenarios are playing out, I'm not worrying about it too much, because they need you to think it's the worst of times, but this is just part of the cycle. And I'm not in the army. I'm too old to ever be useful in the army. I'm too useless to ever be useful in the army. So I'm all good. Nobody's going to call me up and ask me to fight in a war I don't want to fight in. So I'm all good. So that's my Donald Trump and Bobo Johnston. Look at the way he's standing there. It's beautiful. Yes. Brilliant, I tell you. Anyway, I was up early, so I thought I'd make the most of it. And the sun is shining. I'm going to get out there in that sun today. That is for sure. Probably freezing outside, but you get out. Alrighty, boob tubes. Have a good day. Remember what I do here is digital busking. It is all available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job. You'll find value in what I do and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. And a mega thanks to those who do. Alrighty, boob tubes. Have a good one. Oh God, I'm doing something different here, so. Plus the sun's out, I can't even see my screen. Jeez. Cips clips.